Hello everyone, my name is Vishal Singh and I'll be teaching you chess today. So in the previous class, we had completed, creating an attack with the king and how it is very crucial, specifically in the end game when, you don't have a lot of your pieces left around from both the sides, you and your opponent side. So you have to take out your king at the end, which is, you should always know how to use your king as well. So that was about previous class. Today we'll be learning about how to create an attack using using the queen. So remember I have mentioned this a lot of times before as well, that king is the most important piece and the queen is the most powerful piece. So we in the previous video we learned how to use the most important piece. Today we'll be learning how to utilize the most powerful piece in an actual game situations. I'll be throwing real life game puzzles at you and we'll be solving that together. All right, so let's start the session. I'll be sharing my screen now. All right. So before we start with the actual puzzles, we'll be doing this really simple exercise, which will also act as a quick revision for you guys of how the queen works. So now we know that the queen moves in all the directions, right? This is the very simple thing that we had learned. Now that we know that the queen moves in all direction, capturing this stars, how many moves do you think it would take? Just pause the video and come back. All right. So the answer is it will only take two moves. It will, the first move will be queen to e5 and the next one being queen to b8. Very simple. So let's move ahead. Yeah. Now, now you have four stars to get. All right. Now look carefully. What would be the most efficient way to complete this? Because suppose if I were to, capture this star at the top first at f8, what would happen? Let's see how many moves will it take. One move, two move, three move, four move, five move, and finally six. Right? It took me five moves, but if what if I were to capture the star at the bottom first, which actually is in the attack range as well. So let's count one, two, three, and then finally four. It took only four moves. Look, it also formed a four on the chessboard. So it only took four moves to capture all the stars, right? So always look for the most efficient way. So now that we know the answer, let's go ahead. Queen to f2, queen to f8, queen to a3, and finally queen to h3. Cool. Let's go ahead. Again, just see what is in the attack range, right? Let me draw the arrows for you again if it is needed. See, the only star in the attack range right now is the star at f1. Correct. So we'll go for the star at f1. Then is there any other star in the range right now? Yeah, it's the star at f8. So 2. Now you have two options. Either you can capture this at d6 or this star at h6. So which one would you go for? If you were to capture, pause the video and come back again. Don't let me just blur out all the answers for you guys. I want you guys to think. So if you were to capture the star at d6, that would be wrong. The best option would be to capture the star at h6 because it will reduce the number of moves that you will play in total to capture all the stars. So it will only take four moves. See, one, two, three, and four. Whereas if you wanted to capture this star, it would be one, two, three, four, and five. See? So we'll be going for the star at h6. Understood? Right. Again. So queen to d6, queen to a3, and then finally queen to g3. Amazing. All right. Now this is a very complex one. How would you decide which one to go for? Pause the video, take 2 to 3 minutes to think about it, and then again come back for the answer. Now, if you were to go for the star at the top first, you would be wrong because that would increase the number of moves again. See, I'll do this for you. One, we come down here because this would be the next star in our attack range. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. 8 moves in total. What if I were to capture this star at the bottom at G1 first? Let's go 1, 2, coming back up to capture the star at the top. Then 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. See? In the previous one, it took us 8 moves to capture all the star. But if you were to play with your queen efficiently and think before you move the piece, you can really reduce the number of moves that you need to accomplish the same goal. So we have to do is play efficiently. Okay. So let's, now that we know the answer, let's move ahead. So queen to G1, G8, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then finally queen to D3, 7. Just a second. Okay, share my screen again. Okay, so in this situation, if you were to again pause the video, think of a way, and then come back. If you were to go for the wrong star at the beginning, you'll be increasing the number of moves by 1 again. See, if suppose you went for this star at H1 in the beginning, that will be 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. So it took you 10 moves. It doesn't matter even if you choose this star, or any other star. The correct star would be the first star that you should go for should be at F2. Okay, so that would reduce the number of moves by 1. Let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. It took us 9 moves if we played efficiently with the queen. And in the previous method I showed you, it took us 10 moves. All right. So always try to accomplish the task in less number of moves. So let's do that now that we know the answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and me. All right. So okay. So now we're done with the basic revision of how the queen works. So now let's head on to the actual game-like simulations. All right. So this is the first puzzle. Again, all we have to do is attack only using our queen and look out for the free pieces, right? So that are not being protected. So at the moment, obviously, after every puzzle I show it to you, please pause the video, think what the correct answer should be according to you, and then come back and then play the video. All right, so that you actually think while you are in this video. So these pawns are protected. The two of these are protected by the king, and the pawn at h6 is protected by the another pawn. So the only piece free over here that is not protected would be the rook. So there are how many ways are there to attack this rook? You know the rook. This is the attack range of rook. So you directly cannot jump in the attack range of rook. That would be a disaster because the rook will capture our queen directly. That is not an option. What we can do is attack the rook diagonally because that is not how a rook moves. That is not the attack range of the rook. So we can attack it in a diagonal manner. So there are two ways. We can either move our queen to f3 and attack from here, or we can move our queen to d5 and attack from both of them. It would be completely okay. Anyone would be a perfectly fine move. All right. Okay, let's head on to the next one. Okay. So again, let's look out for the pieces that are not protected. The rook is protected by the king. So are these pawn, and the pawn at a6 is protected as well by another pawn, and so is the knight. Okay, the only piece that is not protected right now at the moment would be the bishop. Okay, so how do we attack the bishop? Now the attack range of bishop we know is in a diagonal manner. So we cannot jump in the way of the bishop, right? So that if we were to jump in the attack range of the bishop, the same thing would happen that happened in the previous example. We would lose our queen. We do not want that. And and even if the exchange does take place like this, we'll be in a disadvantage. Why? Because the queen is worth 9 points while the bishop is only worth 3 points. So the opponent will get an advantage of 6 points. We do not want that. We want to win the game. So again, there are two ways to attack the bishop. As I said in the previous example, the rook can only move in straight lines, that is vertical diagonal. So we were able to attack it diagonally. Similar manner, bishop can only move diagonally. So we can attack the bishop in a straight line manner, that is vertically and horizontally. So we can move our queen to d3 to attack it vertically from down, or we can move our queen to f5 to attack it horizontally from the side. Any of the two moves would be perfectly fine. All right. Any of the two moves would be completely fine. Heading on to the next one. Now, so again, look out for the free pieces. These are protected by the king, and so is the pawn protected at g6 is protected by the two pawns. Queen itself is quite powerful, doesn't actually need a lot of protection, because if you put yourself into the attack range of the queen, you are the one that's gonna get eaten up. Okay, so the only piece not protected here right now at the moment would be the knight. So how many ways are there to attack the knight? We can directly jump at f1 to give this an attack. To attack the knight, we can go to d4, queen to d4 to attack it diagonally. Or the best one I would say is to queen to d8. Why? Because that would be a check to the king. The king has to move out of the way. It cannot, if the king has a check, remember I told you in the previous video, you have to move the king out of the way before you play any other move. You cannot leave the king idle in a check. You have to get it out of the way. So the best would be queen to d8. The king has to move out of the way. All right. So, but that would save the knight as well. So there is there any other way? Pause the video and come back. So again, the best one would be either this or this. Got it? Very simple. Let's head on to the next one. Now, let's look out for the free pieces again. Pause the video, think yourself what the free pieces are, and then again come back. So the king is protecting these two pawns, and then the pawn at g7 is protecting the pawn at h6, and the pawn at h6 is protecting the queen at g5. So the only two unprotected pieces are the pawn at a6 and the pawn at a7 and the pawn at c6. So the best move would be to play queen to b7. Why? Think. Because you're simultaneously attacking both the pawns at the same time. Even if this pawn were to run away, trying to escape, we can still capture the pawn at a7. Or if things went other way around, if this pawn were to try to escape, we can still capture the pawn at c6. Got it? Really simple. So this is actually called a fork FORK, where you're attacking two pieces at the same time. Okay, so your enemy only has a chance to save one. Moving on to the next one. All right. So now you see this is a very tight situation, because your enemy is completely well protected. Okay, because the king is protecting these three pawns. It's also protecting the rook. Rook is protecting this pawn as well, and so is the queen, right? And the queen itself doesn't need a lot of protection. Again, I said this before. So what is the best way to attack it, to get through the defenses? This is a tricky one, but it will be quite easy. Pause the video, think for a minute or two, and then come back. Okay. So the answer would be queen to c3. You might be wondering why. What does this do? Well, you can directly attack this pawn here at g7. You might be wondering what if the king captures our queen directly? Well, it cannot because our bishop will be there to support our queen. Got it? And this would actually result in a complete checkmate. Since the rook cannot attack diagonally, it has no ways to save itself. Got it? This is how you use a support. If suppose the bishop was not there to support a queen, the king can directly capture a queen, and that would be a great loss to us. Okay, heading on to the next one. Okay, so now again, this is a very this has a lot of pieces. It will require a lot of thinking. Please pause the video, think again, and then come back. So we'll be looking for the free pieces again. This the whole this is protected by the rook, this is protected by the bishop, this is protected by the queen, the king, sorry. This pawn is protected by the pawn at